Well, hi YouTubers, hi, I'm back with the 22 books of 2022. It's a Jubilee weekend, so hey, good times. So I'm actually working some of it. Anyway, so I have seen the film. I've heard about this book. It is like one of the classics of American kind of like young adult literature. I've now finally read it. Here we go. The Giver by Lois Lowry. Okay, was it Lois Lowry? Anyway, love this book. It is now, for those who actually watched the film, or obviously read this book, you know the gist, but I will give the blurb anyway. Intelligence, integrity, courage, wisdom. These are qualities a receiver of memory must have, and one more which can be named but not described, the capacity to see beyond. Jonas lives safely within a community, a place where there is no war, no hunger, no pain. But when he is selected as a receiver of memory, he starts to discover dark secrets that lie beneath the surface of his perfect world. Secrets that will lead him to undertake an incredible journey. Okay, so compared to the film, Jonas he's 12. He's young in this, which is the way he sees the world as well. Okay, now for it is a structure where there is no sex. Okay, no love. Children are couples are assigned, and then they are assigned children. There is no familial connections and nothing like that. It is a very, very black and white world. Okay, it is. Well, in the film, actually, so much of it actually is um, black and white. And then Jonas starts to see colour, like in Pleasantville, when he's asked to become the receiver of memory. The giver himself is the adult who's transferring all these memories to him, memories that only one person can have, because memories of love and pain and passion and arts and families and all the things. So, right. And the fact is that obviously they're very, very casual about release, okay? More of a thing, you're going to be released. No one knows what release is, but release is like the end. We know what release is, okay? This is when a pilot has gone off course and he's going to be released. This is the world where you can be released for the most minor of infractions. You drift off course, you mess up at school, you are released because you are a burden to your community. Right. Right. There's a ironic tone to that final message. If the speaker found it amusing, and Jonas has smiled a little, though he knew what a grim statement it had been. For a contributing citizen to be released from the community was a fine decision, a terrible punishment, an overwhelming statement of failure. Okay. However, release also happens to the older generation, or to, um, or to people who, go get the status quo. And at the time, his parents, his father works in like a hatchery where they take care of the babies, and they're assigned at Gabriel. Okay. And it's interesting as well, okay, because this is a very much black and white world. But um, eye color. Now, central characters in this have the same eye color. Okay, there's Baby Gabriel, there is the Giver himself, there is Jonas, there's a character called Rosemary. They're all always described about having the same eye color. This bit here. Oh, look, Lily scored in delight. Isn't he cute? Look how tiny he is, and he has funny eyes like yours, Jonas. Right. Jonas glared at her. He didn't like it that she had mesh in his eyes. He waited for his father to chastise Lily. But, but the first thing that Jonas noticed as he looked into the new child, peering up curiously from the basket, the pale eyes. Almost every citizen in the community had dark eyes. His parents did and Lily did, and so did a few of his group members and friends. There were a few exceptions, Jonas helps and a female fighter who he had noticed had different lighter eyes. No mention such things. It is not rule, but considered rude to call attention to things that were unsettling or different about individuals. Now, interesting as well is the fact that young girls who of a certain age, they are taken when their careers path are decided for them and become birth mothers. They give birth to 3 children in rapid succession, then they go off to do, you know, pretty much menial labour. And it was noticed that one of the um, girls in Jonas's class whose child who chose to become a birth mother was behind slightly than everyone else. It's kind of like we are choosing the kind of like the people who are struggling in school to go through this process. So basically, they are drugged heavily, give birth to 3 children, okay, and then go off on their way, and then they work menial labor for the rest of their lives. Right, right, hmm right, hmm and the rules are so rigid as well. This bit here, okay, right, right. This is the example of an infraction, right. Attention, this is a reminder to male 11s that objects are not to be removed from the recreational area and that snacks are to be eaten, not hoarded. I've been explicitly directed to him the day last month that he took an apple home. No one had mentioned it, not even his parents, because the public announcement had been sufficient to produce the appropriate remorse. He had, of course, disposed of the apple and made his apology to the recreation director the next morning before school. Okay? Yeah. That's the thing. If you take an apple home, you got to apologise for it. Everything everything is rigid. Rigid. And what I mentioned, okay, about the birth mother as well, is the fact is that they are literally sent to a production line. This is when Larissa, his friend, is talking about, because she basically works with the old, a house of the old, okay? And she's chatting about, because they do a ceremony when the old release, when they talk about their lives, okay? Right, she was a birth mother. This is Edna who's died. She was a birth mother and then worked in food production for years until she came here. She never even had a family unit, okay? Then she confided, I don't think Edna was very smart. See what I mean? So this rigid rule society, okay, takes the girls who are slightly behind, maybe developmentally delayed, okay, or not reaching their targets, okay, yeah. And this is a process which absolutely no one questions. Absolutely no one questions. Minor infractions, rules and rigid, even down to weights of the babies. It's not even allowed twins, okay, because twins will upset the status quo, right? Mm-hmm. It's about Gabriel. Now, Gabriel is a baby who's come into Jonas's household with his sister Lily and his parents. Okay, because just for this reason. Okay, hmm right. Gabriel, who had not gained the weight appropriate for the days of his life, never going to sleep soundly enough at night to be placed with his family unit. Normally, such a new child would be labelled inadequate and released from the community. Instead, as a result of his father's plea, Gabriel had been labelled uncertain, agreeing the additional year. He would continue to be nurtured at the centre and would spend his nights with Joseph's family unit. Each family member, including Lily, had been required to sign a pledge that they would not become attached to this little temporary guest, and they would relinquish him without protest or appeal when he was assigned to his own family unit at next year's ceremony. So, but the fact is that Gabe is, the way that it treats its people who are just developmentally delayed or just behind. Gabe was just a baby. He is just a baby. But his future is uncertain because he's crying for the night, because they expect babies not to cry for the night, or he's not gaining weight fast enough, even though every baby is unique. Their structure is so rigid that it applies to babies. Okay? Right. hmm Right. So, but then, okay, when I mentioned Inga, okay, so being a birth mother, this is Inga. When I mentioned, okay, being delayed, here we are, okay? hmm When two, oh, because in this society, okay, you are numbered in the rate you were born, okay, right. When two, a female Inga received her assignment as a birth mother, James remembered that his mother had called it a job without honour. But he thought the committee had chosen well. Inga was a nice girl, just somewhat lazy, and her body was strong. She would enjoy the 3 years of being pampered that would follow her brief training. She would give birth easily and well, and the task of labour that would follow would use her strength, keep her healthy, and impose self-discipline. Right, right, but a bit lazy. Now, call her lazy, okay, or maybe she is just behind. Here you go, I think the question. But the thing is, at his ceremony where Jonas is going to pick, given his career, assigning his career chip, it goes wrong for him. They miss him out the selection, okay? He's like, everyone's looking like, what's going on? Is there a mistake? Turns out, no. He gets to become the receiver, okay? Alright, and this is the rules he now has to live by. Now, Jonas lives for his community. He lives for his people. It's his conditioning to do so. And this bit here, okay, now this is his list. I thought this was hilarious, okay? Because this is really kind of, it makes him other, okay? Jonas, receiver of memory. Okay. Go immediately at the end of school hours each day. Okay, and present yourself to the attendant. Go immediately to your dwelling at the conclusion of each training house each day. For the moment you are exempt from rules governing rudeness, you may ask any question of any citizen and you will receive answers. Do not discuss your training with any other member of the community, including parents and elders. From this moment you are prohibited from dream telling. Okay. Except for illness and injury unrelated to your training, do not apply for any medication. You're not permitted to apply for release. You may lie. Now, this place is very, very heavily medicated. Got to mention that. It actually opens up okay with Jonas. You know, he's 12. He's kind of like, hitting puberty, and he starts to have the dreams. And he has to take medication for the dreams because the dreams are bad. Okay, okay, the dreams are bad. And with the giver, who gives Jonas his memories, okay, passes on the memories of the pain. He makes it clear Jonas is now an other. He is an outsider. He has no place in his community. He's like on the fringes of it, okay, and it is quite interesting, okay, because obviously Jonas only being 12. He lives for his community. He imagines, okay, having a wife, being assigned children, eventually going to and all that. And suddenly he has the burden placed of him of all these memories of how it once was, okay, with families and passion and everything and snow. And yet he can't share them. He can't talk about them. He is other. He is so other. You'll be able to apply for a spouse, Jonas, if you want to. I warn you though, it'll be difficult. You live in a arrangements will have to be different from those of most family units because the books are forbidden citizens. You and I are the only ones with access to books. Right. Yeah. And the fact is, it's fun about books. This is a community that doesn't have books. Okay? Right. But the thing is, as it goes on, Jonas is kind of like waking up a bit more, okay? He's seeing his friends, red hair. He's seeing more. He's kind of waking up. He's seeing how the games that he plays have the historical connection to them. Okay? Right. And here we go. Right. Right. The community of elders sought my advice, the giver said. It made sense for them too, but it was a new idea and it came to me for wisdom. And these are memories. The giver said yes. And strongest memory that came was hunger. Okay, for many generations back, centuries back, the population got so big that hunger was everywhere. Excruciating hunger and starvation. It was followed by warfare. Okay? Right. This is what he does. Basically, if there is a question, this is what the giver does. If someone comes down with a question again, should we increase our birth rate to 3 children for a family? They come to him for advice and he looks through his memories and obviously also reads the books he has to find them an answer, yes or no. That is. And it's interesting as well, okay, because seeing the memories, the happy memories of families, the memories that he's receiving, okay, is there is nothing to Jonas. He has his parents and his sister, but they are. It's basically a process of adoption, if you will. Okay, everyone's assigned as no blood ties to anyone, but it's all rigid. There is no love there. That is actually quite sad. Okay, right. Right. When I finish my training and become a full adult, I'll be given my own dwelling. Then when Lily does a few years later, she'll get her own dwelling, and maybe a spouse and children if she applies for them. And then mother and father, that's right. As long as they're still working and contributing to the community, they go and live their life with other childless adults. They won't be part of my life anymore. After that, when the time comes, they go to the house of the old. Jonas went on. He was thinking aloud, and they'll be cared for and respected, and when they release, there'll be a celebration. Which you won't attend, the giver pointed out. No, of course not, because I won't even know about it. By then I'll be so busy with my own life, and Lily will, too. So our children, if we have them, we won't know what their parents or parents are either. Right. And no one's ever questioned this. If they had, they'd probably been released. Okay? Which happened to Rosemary. She was the priest receiver. She was overburdened with the memories and she actually asked to be released. But the thing is, this whole love, okay, because Jonas obviously cares for Gabe, he cares for Lily, and he cares for everyone around him, okay, but it's more with the abstract terms, okay. And so when he actually asked, remember this bit from the film, I actually like this bit from the film, when he asked his parents a crucial word, okay. Father, mother, Jonas asked essentially after leaving the meal, I have a question to ask you. What is it, Jonas? His father asked. He made himself say the words, though he felt a flush of embarrassment. He rehearsed them in his mind on the way home from the annex. Do you love me? There was an awkward silence. Then his father gave a little chuckle. Jonas, you of all people. Precision of language, please. What do you mean, Jonas asked. Amusement was not what he anticipated. Your father means you have used a very generalised word so meaningless that it becomes almost obsolete. Okay? Right. Jonas stared at them, meaningless. He had never felt anything as meaningful as memory. Okay? And of course, our community can't function smoothly. People don't use precise language. You could ask, do you enjoy me? The answer is yes. Or his father asked, do you take pride in my accomplishments? And the answer is wholeheartedly yes. Okay? So do you understand what's inappropriate to use a word like love? Jonas nodded. Yes, thank you, I do, he replied slowly. It was his first lie to his parents. First lie. And then Jonas finds out that Gabe is going to be released. He finds out that because Gabe is crying for the night, he's still not gaining weight in a rate appropriate to someone else's rota. So he, okay, takes him and he finds out, and it is quite heartbreaking because the way this is set up is this is a world, by looking at it, we see how rigid a society is. We see how awful this system is, but the way it's written is these people are not depicted as evil, and I love that about that. Normally in like a kind of like dystopic kind of fiction as this is, the people are conditioned to be this way, but it doesn't make them evil. We see Jonas watching his father, because being the giver, the receiver, he has access to all the cameras. He sees him terminating a child because a child is a twin, and that can't be allowed in their society. Twins can't be allowed. Okay, so but it's not done in a way. It's done in a very kind of casual manner. Okay, very kind of professional manner, but not evil. It's like a conditioned manner, which I love the writing style because there is no villain in it apart from the world around. Okay, the world that these people have constructed. So, right, right. But the thing is, when Jonas finds out about it, he totally goes off. Okay, and he totally freaks out, and the giver's like, it calms him down. Okay, and I absolutely love Jonas at this moment. This moment I absolutely adored. Okay, right. It's when again he calls and says, Jonas is going to stay with me because he needs to basically calm down. Okay, notify the receiver's family unit that he will stay with me tonight for additional treatment. I will take care of that, sir. Thank you for your instructions. I will take care of that, sir. I will take care of that, sir. Jonas meant in a cool sarcastic voice. I will do whatever you like, sir. I will kill people, sir. Old people, small people, newborn people. I'll be happy to kill them, sir. Thank you for your instructions, sir. How may I help you? It couldn't seem to stop, and I don't know why it's done that in a Cockney accent, but it just seemed to fit. Okay. It's on a bit Oliver Twist, isn't it? Sorry. Okay. Right. Listen to me, Jonas. They can't help it. They know nothing. Okay? So Jonas decides, okay, he's done. But the thing is, unlike Rosemary, because the way this works is that one person gets all these memories, but if someone crosses like a barrier, then everything kind of goes back to how it was. Okay? But unlike releasing, okay, right. But the whole eyes thing, okay, this bit here, right, is, and the giver actually knows, and in a way kind of gives his blessing, okay? It's no use, they find someone to take my place, they choose a new receiver. There's no one ready for training yet, not quite right away. I dispute the selection, of course, but I can't think of another child who has the right qualities. There's a little female with pale eyes, but she's only a 6. That's correct. I know the one you mean. Her name's Catherine. She's too young, so she'll be forced to bear these memories. It's either basically throw Catherine under a bus to save Gabe. But he has to save Gabriel, and he does. He leaves. Now, in the film, it's really kind of a bit more high tech and a bit more of a thing. In this, it kind of just literally gets Gabe and sinks away, and people follow him to he kind of like uses his memories that he's learned and kind of crosses the barrier, and it ends on kind of like a cliffhanger. I don't know if he's going to be saved. He's in the wilderness. He's seen snow for the first time. But I love this book. No, I love it. I like how the people aren't evil. They're just conditioned. I like how the pace, I like how it's well set. I loved it, and I will do my best, okay, to actually give my hands on the sequels. No, I understand why this is considered such a classic novel, because Lois Lowry, this is an amazing piece of work, and I actually want to rewatch the film. So I love it, and it's interesting as well because obviously Jonas is only 12, and now he's got this burden on his shoulders, and he talks about how a lot when I'm adult, when I'm grown, when I'm this, and he's only 12 years old and he saves a baby's life and releases these people briefly, maybe, from a tyrannical system. So kudos to you, Jonas. So anyway, The Giver by Lois Lowry, loved it, recommend it. Please read this book, it's fantastic. And sign off here. Bye now.